When I was little, my dad and mom used to take us out on Sundays. We would all get in the car, take down the top, and we would go over the biggest bumps we could find, just so we would always try to find the biggest and most elaborate bathtub shrines. For the most part, the bathtub shrines had a central figure of Mary in one of the bathtubs that was vertical. One farmer would do it, and then somebody else would do it, and they'd have to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And so then you saw multiple bathtubs, and they would use old farm equipment. My dad had no compunction about knocking on the door and asking him about who made them. And one day, a man that I almost considered like a second father to me, his name was Jake Jacobson. One day he called me up and he said, "Ruth, I'm taking you up north today. You're gonna meet somebody that, like, you've never met before. Are you ready?" When you first look at the park from the road, one of the first things you're gonna see is Paul Bunyan. And he's really tall, like at least 18 feet tall, 20 feet tall, something like that. And on either side of him is one of the oxen. And I mean, you couldn't help but come to a roaring stop. Fred was an amazing man, tough and funny and determined. People said that he wasn't smart, he was just a dumb farmer, but he was anything but dumb. He was really nice, quite frankly. And I said, "Can we be friends?" I actually said that. Because I want to come and see you often. It changed my life. I mean, I'd been to museums all over Kingdom Come, in Europe and the United States and Canada. But I don't think I'd ever seen anything that made my heart sing, in his words, "It's gotta be in ya." Well, he died in 1968, and his wife didn't believe it was important. And the family, they wanted it razed to the ground. But in his will, it said that the work that was around the tavern, if they weren't moved into the park within 90 days, then the tavern keeper would own them. When we got up there, the tavern keeper was so afraid. He thought we were going to take the whole park and move it to Sheboygan or someplace like that. And he didn't want to lose the pieces like Sacagawea and Iwo Jima. He thought that was why people came there. And it was true. There were 3 days left. We had to do something. When we went up there that day, we found that he was giving away free beer all day long. That just brought in hordes of people. So we looked at each other and thought, there's a tavern full of guys who don't want us. What are we going to do? And we just decided we had to go in and individually talk to people and just quietly convince them that we wanted to save the park. And it wasn't to hurt the tavern keeper, and they began to understand. And so they not only left the tavern, some of them stayed to move these humongous pieces of concrete. So it was a moment when you thought, wow, this is going to happen. It's going to work. Then there was they called it a cyclonic level storm. It was huge and just tore through the park. One of my favorite pieces is an Indian chief, and he's about life size, and they had him in a box. It was a box about this big, just little tiny pieces. For me, it was devastating after all the work that we'd gone through, but we got through it and completely restored it. I mean, we were determined, and we went through hell. Now, I can't tell you the thousands of people that go to Phillips, Wisconsin, and are awestruck by it. I don't know what else to say except it's gotta be in ya.